Okay, welcome back once again to my channel, and today I'm live with you to fly the new plane. That's the ZIBO Mod 737-800X, and today I'm going to do a flight from Karachi to Dubai. It's going to be a very short flight. It's a test flight. I'm actually trying it for the first time, so I just thought I'll come live and fly the plane with you. We'll do the flight planning and everything together, so that you know how to do the flight planning and how to enter the flight plan into the FMC of ZIBO Mod, because it's different than the default 737-800. Let's get back to SimBrief, my favorite flight planning website, and we have the airports entered over here. The departure airport OPKC, that's Karachi, and the arrival airport OMDB, that's Dubai. And let's find the aircraft. I always find it difficult to find the aircraft. Okay, the session has expired, so we are going to log in again, and this thing happens. Okay, SimBrief. It's loading. You can see it. Okay, so we are going from OPKC. Most of the times there is load on SimBrief, so at times it takes some time to load. OMDB, that's the way. Airframe we have selected. Okay, the runway that we are going to select will be 25 left from Karachi, and arrival runway will be 30 left in Dubai. That's the flight plan. And these are the SIDs and the stars. Okay, so let's get back to here to X-Plane 11 and select Karachi 25 left. If I am not wrong, this is the runway that we selected, and confirm. I'm using the local time of 6:41 a.m. Right now it's not local time. It would be 2 hours difference from here where I'm sitting right now, so it will be 3:40 in the morning, but we have selected 6:41 so that we can see the dawn, and I'm matching the real world conditions. The weather is real, although it's all clear. Let's wait for the game to load. In the last few days, I've actually been trying to optimize the game performance. It was not running really well on my system, though my system was new, and the settings were kind of off, and I had to do some settings in order to get the best FPS. So I will be also taking you through that thing in this flight as well. So right now I'm getting, initially I was getting like 16, 17 FPS, but right now I'm getting some good FPS. So I think that's a good achievement at mine. Okay, so here we are in the cockpit. And let's turn on the lights a bit because it's an early morning flight. So these are the knobs to turn on the lights. Oops, not so much. We'll try to keep it dim. Cockpit looks really nice. Do tell me about your experience if you have installed ZIBO and you have tried to do a flight on ZIBO. Okay, let's get back to the business, and let's enter the flight plan. The default 737 has this capability of popping up the FMC, and then you can enter the flight plan. But right now in ZIBO Mod, they have tried to actually, I think, make it more realistic, so that you have to enter it into the FMC directly by pressing these buttons. You cannot even use your keyboard for that. So I'm going to do it like this. So first of all, let's go to. Oh, plus there are also announcements. Great. Okay. So we have O, P, K, C. You have to enter manually like this. and then OMDB, that's the arrival airport, OMDB. Runway is 25 left. Here you go. Next. Now next we have to select this is basically the SID, that's the airway, and that's the next waypoint. So we're going to start our flight plan from here. This is basically the route. This is the SID and this is the star. Okay, so it's A325, that's the airway. I'm getting this error most of yes, every time I get this error when I'm trying to enter the first which you say the flight path, it always gives me an error. I don't know why this error is coming. It should take this flight path, otherwise we will direct go to this waypoint. So let's enter the waypoint. There are many things that are hidden trial and experiment 11. I've been doing it for the past many months now. It's more than a year now, and I've been, you know, just finding my way around through explain 11 in order to get my flight plan done. So you keep practicing a lot and you will learn it. Also A454, that's the next airway. 454. I think this will work now. Yes, this is working perfectly. All right, the waypoint is VUSET. In all of my videos, I always do the flight planning because that's the most important point. Once the flight plan is done, then there's not an issue. So R462. So I always do it just to show you guys how I do it. R462 to MIXAM. Let's see if we get the flight plan right. I think we should. I'm doing it for the first time. B574. And this is the last waypoint. That's it. Activate, execute. That's it. Departure, select the departure. 25 left is already selected because we entered this runway over here. And the SID is, this is the SID. Execute, that's it. And the star is 3C. This one is the star, no transition. And this is the RNAV navigation that we're using right now, RNAV. You can see it over here. It's not ILS, this is ILS, and this is RNAV. Though we will be able to do the ILS landing, but this is the type of navigation that we're going to use for this flight, and that's RNAV. Okay. I've been telling this a lot in my tutorials. Transition, and this is the transition. Execute. Now let's see if our flight plan is correct. Turn on to this knob to PLN, that's plan. And if you press this button and you keep on pressing step, you can see the waypoints over here in the flight display. Yes, that's a proper approach. And here it is. So the flight plan is done. Climb, just give the cruise altitude, that's 38,000. Okay, and initial reference. Let's give the fuel, I just give fuel like 20 pounds. Here's the fuel. Oops. Error. Reserves. Let's fly with some reserve fuel. Cost index, I just enter a random number. I don't know the cost index for this. And press execute. Route, Avitab, take off. Flaps will be 5 degrees. Just enter the flaps. We get. We have to actually. I don't know. I'm still learning to use this FMC, but though I think it will work. I will be doing a complete tutorial on this one, how to program the FMC of ZIBO. Right now I think this is more than enough to take the plane in the air towards Dubai. Look at this beautiful weather, beautiful sight, nice plane, realistic feeling. Okay. Turn on the flight director. Lower your flaps by 3 notches, that is 5 degrees. Okay, it's time to give the course. The course for the Dubai runway will be 300. Okay, and for the Karachi airport, 25 left. We are using 25 left. 25 right, 25 right. I think it's somewhere here. 25 left. Yes, this is 25 left, and it's 254 degrees. So let's enter the heading. 254. The altitude to the speed will be 230. Can we go more than this? Yes, no, we cannot go more than this. We get an error. So let's stick to 230 knots. Everything seems to be set. Turn on. Oops, did a mistake. So this is what I was trying to explain it to you. It's a bit different, the ZIBO mod. In the default 737, you can turn on the auto throttle before the takeoff. But right now in the ZIBO mod, it doesn't allow you to do that. I think just to give a more realistic approach towards flying. I've got the tab installed. So far I haven't figured out how to work with the tab, but you can see some options. You have the PA system, so that's a welcome message. Plus you have this fuel management, you have some options, you can see the map. During the flight you can see where your plane is right now. So this gives a good realistic approach. That's, I think, that's exactly. So here's Karachi and here's Dubai. So we'll be flying from here to this point. Okay. I think route we have already given. I haven't tried making a flight plan with the Avitab. This is an additional add-on that you can install with ZIBO. We are all set. We have to release the brakes. Now this option is not available in the default X-Plane 737. You don't see this red line when the brakes are on. You have to release them. Okay. That's it. I think we are ready to go. Let's try it. This one trick I've learned is this, that you first of all take your throttle to 50% of engine power, and then after 50%, then again you accelerate, you give more power to your engines. That's, I think, the standard procedure. Let's take it on the way.
Positive rate.
Positive rate gear up.
400.
High. Just try to bring down the nose a bit. And retract the flaps. Speed is good. Climb rate
1000.
is good. And let's reduce the power. So far, things are looking good. Not that bad.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
4 people are with us. Thank you guys. Thank you for being with me. Bank angle was really high, so we have to reduce the bank angle. I was turning at a very high rate. Just trying to get on the flight path. Okay, I think it's time to turn on the autopilot. I think now the plane will correct its path. I'm getting some good frame rates. It's 24 right now. But definitely when you have more objects in the scenery, your frame rate will drop. Right now it's 25. Initially I was getting 16, 17, so I had to do some tweaking. I think now we are flying at the right path. Let's wait for this turn. If the plane takes this turn, it means that we're going in the right way. We haven't missed a waypoint, because if you miss a waypoint, then your plane doesn't follow the flight path. Yes, this is now white, this waypoint. It means we are on the route.
Thousand to go.
Oops, I forgot to set the altitude. My bad. Apologies for this. I should always be using a checklist. But still the plane is climbing, so I think nothing to worry about. The climb rate is 2200 meters per second. Let's see if we have a top of descent right now. We have. Okay, the top of descent initial. Yes, another one point. In the default 737, you see the top of descent point the moment the plane takes off and you enter your cruise altitude. But in the ZIBO, you will not see your top of descent till the point your plane is at the given altitude. So that's 38,000. So once you're at 38,000, then your top of descent will start showing over here. Guys, thank you very much for staying with me, and if you have any question, you can just let me know, and I can answer you. Few days back I also did a tutorial on my channel which was related to flight planning, and it was like some easy flight planning, the type of flight planning that we did right now, and with an option to remove discontinuity in the flight plans, because most of the times when you're making plans you face discontinuities. So in that topic I tried to cover the issue of discontinuity, how to get rid of the discontinuity in the flight plan if you have any discontinuity. Frame rate is coming good. It's not that bad. There are some jerks, you can see it over here. There are some jerks. I've been trying to optimize the performance. These are the graphic settings that I'm using right now. Everything's set to high. I think this game is really heavy on the performance. Let's look at the performance. I've been trying to optimize the graphics of this game. Not been so much successful. But this is good. This is I'm seeing for the first time. Nicely. So right now you can see this thing that my GPU utilization is 37%, though I'm using NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080, which is, I think, according to me, it's top of the line graphic card. It's running at 38%, but my CPU utilization has gone up to 97%. It's happening. I'm trying to bring it down. I'm trying to balance it off, but it's not happening. I don't know why this game keeps on utilizing my CPU to such a great extent and not my GPU. Initially, there were few settings that I did, and I took my GPU to almost 70-80% of utilization, and then the FPS were really good. I was almost getting 60 FPS, 55, 60 FPS. But I don't know, then I changed some settings again, and since then I've not been able to find out, but I'm trying to figure out the issue, and I'm trying to get the maximum. But right now 63 degrees temperature is in my GPU, and CPU utilization, CPU temperature is 71%. I think I can make some hot coffee with the help of my CPU and GPU, combined power of them. Memory utilization is good, it's only fixed 36%. Wow. Very nice view. I've been flying a lot in the last 5 years, and I've been taking some early morning flights. Early morning flights are always nice. The sunrise is really good. I have some videos on my YouTube channel as well, in which I've covered the sunrise. You can go and watch them. I've been trying to capture it. In the low light, it's very difficult to capture the low light, because then you get the noise in the video, but I try to remove it in the post. It still gets some good view. Even on 31st I'm flying again. I have a flight, not early morning, but I will be reaching at 3 in the morning. So I will be missing the sunrise, but during the sunset, yes, I will be in the plane, and I will be covering the sunset as well. I will be flying from Riyadh to Abu Dhabi via Etihad Airways. It's 787. By the way, I'm also trying to find a nice 787 for X-Plane 11. If you guys have tried any 787, let me know so that I can try it. Few months back, I tried the Airbus A350 that's available on the store. It was not really good. In the flight planning, in the 350, you cannot enter the SID and star. So that was the issue that I was facing at that time. Since then, I haven't uploaded that because I was really disheartened. I tried that plane for 2-3 days. The graphics of the plane was also not really good as compared to the graphics that you get over here. Just look at the view. It's really nice. There is some master portion. Why there is a master portion? Let's turn it off. As long as the plane is climbing, the speed is good. I don't think so we have to worry about anything. Gears are up, flaps are up. Plane is climbing at a constant rate. Speed is good, course is set. Let's set the ILS DME, that's the frequency for the localizer. In the X-Plane 11, you enter the localizer frequency over here, but over here, in this plane, the ZIBO mod, you enter it over here. And then you press these two buttons to activate it. We will do it once we are near Dubai airport, but let's enter the localizer. ILS DME for, oops, that's Karachi. For Dubai airport, for left ILS, Dubai. Let's find it. 110.9, 110.9. Activate. So now these frequencies are active, which is the localizer frequency for the ILS. And once we are near the way, we will press these two buttons, though you can do it right now. No need for that. And look at these graphics, they're so realistic in this plane that even there are finger marks on the screen. So much feel like cleaning them. Can we do it right now? No, we can't. So far everything looks good. There's also one technique that I tell you. This right now, the speed that you see is in the knots. The moment you cross 30,000 feet, you turn the speed into Mach, like this. No need to do it right now. You turn it to Mach, and roughly it's 80.80 to 8283 Mach, depending upon the speed that you want for your plane. But generally, I keep it at 0.8 in ZIBO planes, and that's 250 knots. Yes, exactly. And soon after 30,000, as the air will also get thinner, your speed will start to reduce. That's why you will be managing your vertical speed so that your plane doesn't stall. So during the ascent, you have to take care of these things. Sun is rising. It's time to rise and shine. Okay, you can see right now as the plane has started to ascend, started to reach this 30,000 mark. The same moment the speed has started to reduce, because now in this atmosphere the air is thin. So what we're going to do is this, that we're going to set the speed to Mach. I'm going to set it to 0.8, and I am going to lower the vertical speed to 1200. And you can see this thing, that now the speed has also started to increase slowly, and the plane is still climbing but with a lower rate, 1200 meters per second. So this is a small trick that I wanted to tell you guys right now today in this flight. If you want to increase the rate of speed, you can decrease the ascent rate and keep it 1000, and you can see the speed will now increase at a faster rate. Can we see the top of descent right now? The Way Airport is 672 nautical miles away. Here is the approach. If you press this button WXR, you will be able to see clouds in this flight display. Right now I think there are no clouds, so you cannot see them. I also have to figure out this issue, that how to get rid of this error using reserve fuel. I don't know why my plane keeps on flying on reserve fuel. Everything looks good so far. Not bad. Okay, now the plane is at the speed we've mentioned here, 0.8 Mach or 267 knots. So above 30,000 feet, always turn your speed to Mach and set it to 0.8. This is the speed limit. You cannot go beyond that. So we are slightly below the speed limit, which is under control. Roughly 1,200 feet to go.
Thousand to go.
Yes, 1,000 to go now. Leveling off at 38,000. The moment plane will level off, you will see top of descent over here. FMC. Let's check. flying experience of this plane is good. It gives you a real feel, especially the FMC, because real planes have got FMC like this. The default 737 has got a simpler version of FMC just for the beginners and for the people who just are new to the flight simulation. But if you want a complex FMC, then ZIBO Mod is the plane to fly. And the best part is this, that it's free of cost. You don't have to pay anything, but obviously you can contribute to the developer because they put in a lot of effort. So you can see now the top of descent has started to appear at 38,000 feet. So it's 476 nautical miles away. Oops, I always do this mistake. I always do it. Never touch the controls of the plane while you are flying because it disengages the autopilot. So this is what I did actually. This is the place where I just moved my mouse and the pitch of the plane got disturbed in the autopilot and the autopilot mode got deactivated. So never touch any control in the plane. Explain 11, it never used to, the default 737 never used to happen like this, but this is, I think, sensitive. I think in the real planes also, it also happens like this. Now my frame rate has started to deteriorate a lot. It's gone up to 14 frames per second. I don't know why this thing is happening. Yes, even I've got the error. I don't know if I've adjusted them. I'm just nowadays struggling a lot with with my graphic processor settings and the CPU settings. I'm using a 5G connection for the uplink. This is what I've started to use recently. The uplink speeds have been good. But today I think the uplink speed is also not really good because it's weekend in Middle East, and I think these connections are always shared. I don't have a dedicated line for that, and this thing happens on the weekends. Speeds get deteriorated. Uplink is 5.763 Mbps. Not really good. A long way to go, and till then just enjoy the flight, and I will be back with you once we are about to reach the top of descent. This is another issue that I've been seeing in the ZIBO mod. Is about the speed. I think it was because of the turbulence that the engines keep on powering up, and then I think it's stable right now. Maybe it was because of the turbulence. There is some headwind. Let's check the wind. How much the wind is right now. It is, yes, not that much, but strong. From this direction, this one. 286 degrees. You see, now there is more abrupt power changes. This is I'm experiencing for the first time in a flight simulation in this plane. If you have any information, just let me know, because I have no idea about the real world flights and how to fly a proper commercial plane. So I don't know the technicalities really, so I just keep on reading on the internet and try to find out the information as much as I can. But if you guys have any information regarding this thing, just let me know. It will be good to share some information over here, because this is how we are learning to fly. I'm also preparing myself for the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I think it's will be releasing soon, in some time. They have some testing versions going on, but as per the NDA, those people who have actually signed up for the testing cannot disclose the details of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I tried to enroll myself in that program, but the enrollments were closed. Many people are actually looking forward to Flight Simulator 2020. It's going to be fun. And I've heard that they're going to have some default planes like Airbus 320 is also going to be there. Because in Flight Simulator X there was also a good range of planes. It had 737, 320 and then 747. So I think they're going to add some planes. This is what the people have actually guessed from the trailers of the game. 371 nautical miles to go. Right now there are 3 people with us. Thank you very much guys for staying with me. I hope you're enjoying this flight. I hope you're enjoying the experience. Do give me your comments. It's nice to share your thoughts with me on my channel, because feedbacks really help me bring some better content for you on my channel. I've been actually away from my channel for a very long time, but now I'm back, and I'm almost back for the last 1 month. And I'm trying to be regular, and I'm trying to do as much videos I can do for X-Plane 11, because after my office I just come back and I get some time, so I experiment something and then I try to do a tutorial for you. Nowadays I'm thinking of doing a tutorial for the holding process. So let's say if you're approaching a runway and the ATC asks you to hold your position, so how do you do it with the FMC? There's this option available. I'm not going to do it in ZIBO because I'm not really familiar with the FMC. I have to practice this FMC a lot, but I will be doing it in the default 737 because the FMC is really easy to use, and over there is a procedure to hold your position before the runway. So I will be doing that. Marcus, thank you very much for your question. Do you have any gaming gear for your setup? I just only have Extreme 3D Pro of Logitech. That's the only stick that I use for flying. Actually, my home is in Pakistan. I live in Middle East. I work here, and my home is in Pakistan. I'm always planning to go back to my home. So I'm not spending so much money and doing a setup over here. But as soon as I move back to Pakistan, maybe 1 year or 2 years, let's see where my job takes me, then I'm going to have my proper setup. But right now, just to take the plane up in the air and just to land the plane, I have this Logitech 3D Pro stick. It's not that good. I always find it difficult to fly the plane manually. It's very difficult to handle it. That's why in my videos you've been seeing me, having a very shaky takeoff and a very shaky landing. And another question from Marcus. Yes, I have tried to become a pilot. When I was young, I wanted to be in Air Force. I wanted to be in Air Force. Then there was a time when I was young, I also thought of becoming an aeronautical engineer, because that's another field related to aviation that I was really in love with. But I couldn't make it. But I wanted to be a pilot, especially a fighter pilot, because I was young at that time. And yes, commercial flying, I thought about it, but it was very expensive. It's still so expensive in Pakistan. So I couldn't do that. But maybe an airline picks me up by looking at my flight simulator experience. And they say, you can come and fly for us. There is this interesting flight simulator in Dubai. They have a very nice setup, though it's not hydraulic based, but they have in Dubai Mall an A380 model. That's a fixed simulator, and I think it's got some basic nice controls, but it gives you the feeling of the cockpit. And people just go over there and they just enjoy the flight. I think it's a 25 or 30 minute flight. You take your plane off and I think you circle. I don't know what kind of flight you can do over there. So I'm planning to go to Dubai, and I'm planning to do that flight. So let's see. If I ever go there, I'll come live on my channel. Marcus says it's never too late. My friend, now with a 9 to 5 proper job, it's very difficult to learn how to fly an actual plane, because I think it requires a lot of dedication. But I knew few pilots from Pakistan. They're actually, at a good position. They are actually captains of 777 and Boeing 737. And one of the captain has a channel. He used to come and fly 787 almost every single day. But I think I've stopped seeing him. Maybe he's busy. But these are the good platforms to basically polish your flying skills, especially for the pilots who are actually learning how to fly and they're testing different scenarios. I also want to test different scenarios in X-Plane 11, but I'm not really sure about the scenario. So I will be downloading a handbook, let's say, if you've got your engine failure, what to do, what are the procedures for that. So I'm trying to learn those things as well, and I'm trying to implement those things. So daily I'm learning something, and I'm just coming up with something for you guys. The first and most initial point for me was to make a flight plan without any discontinuity, without any issues. Because every time I was trying some new different airport, I was finding it very difficult to make a flight plan. Also, do tell me about the quality of the feed that you're getting right now on my channel. Actually, all of my setup is new, and I'm experimenting with different things. Oh my god, I did it again. Every time I try to zoom in, I disengage the autopilot. 329 nautical miles to go. Roughly the plane starts to descend 120, 130 nautical miles before the airport, and that's totally dependent on the altitude that you're flying on right now. As if we're flying at 38,000 feet, I think we will start descending at 130 nautical miles, or roughly 140 nautical miles. I've heard Modern Warfare is also coming now. I've not even heard. Everybody's anticipating that. And most of the big YouTubers, the big gamers have actually installed this Modern Warfare and they're playing it online. There are some multiplayer versions available as well. I've also pre-ordered and I'm just waiting for the download to start. Though I've downloaded the game, but it's not letting me play it because it's still not launched. At my time, it's 4 in the morning, so it's 2:37. Maybe after 1.5 hours, I will be able to play the game. So if you are interested in Modern Warfare, maybe you'll come back to my channel in order to watch the first glimpse of the game. Mostly the gamers right now, the YouTubers, they are actually doing the multiplayer session online. I will be trying for the story mode. I'm not so much into multiplayer. It makes me very nervous. Do you think you can make this flight in real life? Yes, but with the help. If the co-pilot is there, I can do it, but obviously no. At least I have to do some real-world flight simulation, the one that's got hydraulics in it, so that just to get the feel of the stick and everything. But in case of emergency, maybe I can do it, but with some help, obviously. So any of you guys are really looking forward to Modern Warfare, or you guys are just only into simulation? Because I am waiting for it. I played Black Ops, I think many years back, but I stopped playing it because it didn't have a controller, what you can say, compatibility in the PC version, and it's very difficult for me to play it with the mouse. So I stopped playing that game, but though I ended it, Black Ops. But now I'm waiting for this Modern Warfare also. And nowadays I'm also trying this game F1 2019. That's a really nice game to play. It's a nice simulation. So I've got all types of simulations. I've got a train simulator as well, but that's an old one now. New train simulator has come. I'm also trying to download it. Borderlands 3. Okay, I will try that game as well. Due to my office, I was unable to try different games, but now I've started to take some time out and I'm trying out different games. Few days back I tried Fortnite. It's really fun to play that game. I've got some videos on my channel as well, so you can just go and watch them. This video that I did is this. I tried to stay away from all the players during the match without any weapon. So I think got 8th amongst the 100 players without using any weapon. I survived the whole match, and then of course there are many experienced players there who are playing it. So I'm trying to do the reviews of different games and everything. I'm getting back to action now. Just upgraded my system. I got this HP Omen and it's really nice. RTX 2080, there was a lot of buzz in the market, so I also tried to experience this video card, and so far so good. It's a good system and a nice GPU. I think it will last for the next 2-3 years. But new games that are coming in, they're very heavy. Likewise, right now I was downloading Modern Warfare. That's 114 GB, so it's very heavy. X-Plane 11 itself, I think it's 60 GB game. Okay, Marcus, you were asking me about the time when we are going to reach there. It's you can see the clock in the plane over here. It says 2:40, and let's see what's the time of arrival. The time of arrival at OMDB is 3:54, just right after 1 hour. So one more hour to go, because 294 nautical miles to go to top of descent, and then there will be further distance to go. Roughly, you can see 460 and 293. So you can see there's quite a difference to cover. So I think in the next 1 hour we will be landing. So that's how you check your flight time. And now if you're wondering that how pilots know that we are about to land in the next 1 hour and next 10 minutes, if you have experienced this thing, and if you have ever wondered, so this is how they check, because the FMC is telling them. So that's how they calculate the time. What do you work with? I work with a technology company. I'm in the planning department, so I do the commercial planning. I'm the numbers guy. I'm always been crunching the numbers. So even this flight simulator is a nice way for me to steam off everything. The plane, while approaching Dubai, enters into the Gulf from Oman side. So plane flies over Oman and then it lands. This is actually the actual path that I took. I think I went to Dubai from Islamabad in 2010, and then I went again in 2011. And this is the same route that the plane took. Though the approach was straight, the approach was really straight, it didn't make this S-shape approach. I don't know why in X-Plane 11, when you try to make a flight plan, and always gives you a flight plan like this, the approach comes up like this. Maybe it's because just in the flight simulators, but in real life it's a straight approach. Yes, Marcus, it does. Actually, all the flights in X-Plane 11, and then plus all the flight simulators, Microsoft Simulator X, the flight times are actual, and it takes the same time. It's roughly from Karachi to Dubai, it's a 2 hours flight, and if you're flying from Islamabad, add just one and a half more hours. I think it's a 3 hour and 30 minutes flight, or 3 hours or 45 minutes flight, depending upon the traffic at the airport. Most of the times, Dubai airport is really busy. I once remember I was flying to Pakistan, and I had a connection at Dubai airport. It took us roughly 45-50 minutes extra, because there was too much traffic at the runway, and our plane kept on circling on the sea before landing. And the best part was this, that I was landing at the New Year, and I could see all the fireworks. So the moment we were landing, there were fireworks going on. I think it's 10 past midnight or 15 past midnight. So I saw all the fireworks from the air. I tried to make a video, but due to the low light, I couldn't get a nice view of the fireworks. I always want to take that flight again once on the New Year. You can see some traffic as well. This is a very busy route. Because for many airlines, Middle East is the connection, like the hub. And all those people who are actually flying from west to east or east to west, let's say from Indonesia, Malaysia, because in China, they're stopping in Dubai, they're stopping in Oman and Qatar, and they're flying onwards to other destinations in the west, like in Europe and the States. So this is kind of a central hub. So even if you go and fly to Riyadh, you see this sector very busy, even in this time in the night, because all the flights are coming in and going out. And as you know, this thing that Dubai airport is the most busy airport in the world. No issues, Marcus. I also do the same thing. I also um, click on different things and my autopilot just goes off. It happened just right now in the live 2 times with the pitch controller. So this thing happens, but it takes a lot of time. I think initially when I started to learn how to fly, it took me a great deal of time. For example, I started off with Flight Simulator X. Initially, I learned the autopilot. Autopilot is easy. Turning on the button, setting up the heading and the course and the speed and the altitude. That's easy to do it. But once you want to do this ILS approach and a proper flight, then it becomes difficult. And the most important thing was the flight planning. So first of all, I mastered the flight planning. It took me 1 week in order to learn how to make a flight plan and enter into the FMC. And after that 1 week, I was then practicing it, the ILS approach and everything. It took me another 1 week. So 2-3 weeks of practice, and you just keep on sitting and try to learn everything. Just go over the internet and read different stuff. And you learn a lot. And obviously there are many videos on my channel as well, which you can just watch and you can learn from there. Just follow each and every step. The best way to do is this, that don't do your own flight plan and don't fly the plane on your own. Just try to follow everything that's there in the video. So that's how I did it. I just picked up few videos and I exactly repeated the same thing, the way they were done in the video. Initially by looking at the videos, and then I tried to do it by my own, like without watching the video. And eventually I tried to make my own flight plans, and it worked out. But still, the learning process is there, because obviously this aviation industry is like one of the biggest industries in the world. The planes are really complex. It's very interesting to do. It's all computerized, so it's always good to learn new things every day. Even I'm doing it nowadays. Can you have much traffic? Yes, Marcus, we can turn on the traffic. If you go to the settings, in the graphic settings, if you just go over here, you can see number of world objects. You can increase them, and you can also see more traffic coming in. You can turn on the traffic and turn off the traffic. The more the traffic, the lower the frame rate. See, my frame rate has gone up to 18, 19 frame rate. I don't know, I'm struggling a lot. I don't know, this game keeps on consuming my CPU, and my GPU is all relaxed. My GPU is more relaxed than I am right now. Even I'm tensed. You see, this shouldn't be happening. It should either be balanced, or it should be GPU should be utilized. I've also done the settings, but still it keeps on utilizing all of my CPU, and my GPU runs in the idle state. So 130 degrees right now in my system. Yes, Marcus, sure, I will do that. You are asking me to do a flight plan for Sweden. I have done some flight plans from Heathrow to Frankfurt. You can watch them as well, and definitely if you can just give me the name of the airports in Sweden, then I can try doing that for in Sweden. So let's say, I'm not really sure, I've not been there, but if you can just tell me the name of the airports, I can make a flight plan, and maybe next time I can do a flight and I can just put it on the YouTube channel just for you. Now you see, there are more world objects coming in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 and 4 planes in sight right now. And due to this, my frame rate has tremendously dropped. Let's try reducing the world objects. This is one experiment that I've also been doing in order to have the maximum graphics. So number of world objects, I've set it to minimal. The flight has not ended. And I've kept it to minimal, but still the frame rate hasn't gone up. Fine, Marcus. Thank you very much. I've got your airports. So maybe tomorrow, because it's my weekend. So tomorrow I can do a flight and I can upload it on my YouTube channel and you can just watch it. I'll do step-by-step flight planning for you, and I'll fly the plane from the airports that you want, and then you can replicate the same thing on your system, and then you try to make it on your own without watching the video, without any aid, and let's see if you can do it or not. So the moment you're able to do that, then you will be able to make your own flight plans anywhere in the world. There is this one issue that I'm facing in ZIBO nowadays, is this, that once I am in the cockpit, I am unable to move the view. So let's say right now I'm moving my left, top, bottom and right keys, and the view is not changing. Even if I'm trying to zoom in and zoom out, it's not working. So I think this is an issue with the ZIBO right now. There are many updates of ZIBO available. I have not updated the ZIBO after installing it. So maybe in the updates this issue is fixed, but this is the issue that I'm facing right now. It's 2:50. Just imagine, this plane is picking up the clock speed of my system, and it's like showing 2:50 in the morning, and it's all bright. Usually it's dark at this time of the night. 4 people with me, thank you very much. I'm trying to grow the size of my channel. It's just a new channel. I started 1 year back. I was not really regular on my channel, but now I have started to come regularly. You can see that in the past few days I've uploaded more videos than I've uploaded in the last 1 year. And I'm trying to increase the size, and support from you guys is required. I'm trying to share as much information as I can with you guys. Sure, Marcus. You've tried the flights that I did on my YouTube channel, and you want me to do it for Sweden. Definitely, I'm going to do it one for you on the same airports that you told me, and then you can do that. It'll be easy for you. And then happy flying. Happy flying and safe landings and takeoffs. $218 nautical miles to go. So roughly after 100 nautical miles we will be descending. 217 nautical miles we will be descending. Roughly 160, 150 nautical miles before the runway. Now remember one thing, as you can see, the approach is really complex. It's like an S shape. So there are lots of turns. There is 2 ways to handle those turns. If you are coming too fast, the plane will overshoot the turn and will miss a waypoint, and then your navigation will be destroyed. So there are 2 ways to do it. Either increase the bank, not towards this side, not towards this side. You can increase the bank, because over here you decrease the bank of the turn. So bank of the turn is actually the extent to which your plane will be bending towards left or right, either ways, whatever the way this plane is turning towards. So the bank sets this one. So 10 degrees mean a slight tilt, and a 30 degrees mean a very heavy tilt. In the default X-plane 11's 737, you don't get to hear the bank alert. But right now over here, if your bank is too steep, you get this alert, as you heard in the beginning of this video, that I was turning at a very steep rate and I got this bank alert. So probably what I'm going to do is this: I will be taking these turns at 180 to 160 nautical miles. I don't want to miss a turn, and I will set my bank to 25. Let's do it right now. Let's set the bank to 2. Oops, you see, I cannot do it. Actually, that's the issue I was telling you about. I'm facing in ZIBO mod. I cannot change the view. See, I cannot do that. because I have this arrow has to go bigger. So this is a small one for the smaller knob, and this is a big one for the bigger knob for the bank, and this is for the heading and bank. So I cannot get this over here because I cannot change the view. Otherwise I was going to do it like this. I will be coming at 160 knots. I'll try to keep my speed 160 knots, because soon after these turns I will be reducing the speed to 140 knots, which is the ideal speed for approach of the runway. Hi, sorry, I cannot, Dillon, I cannot pronounce your name properly. Sorry for that. But hi, welcome to my channel. Thank you very much for staying with me. 5 people now are watching. Guys, thank you very much for your support, for your encouragement, for staying with me. Do subscribe to my channel. It's open for subscriptions. There are no charges for subscriptions as well. And do watch the videos that I have on my channel. You will definitely learn how to fly a plane in the flight simulator. Actually, I was waiting for this release of Modern Warfare. For me, it's 1 hour to go. So before I do the Modern Warfare, I just sort of coming over here and flying the plane with you. It's all right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying this video. You're enjoying this chat. 189 nautical miles to go. We will be descending at initially at roughly 1400-1500 meters per second. This will be at descent rate at the speed of 240 knots. And the flaps we will open by 3 notches, that is at 5 degrees. So we will keep the flaps at 5 degrees. Okay, you have a question that you are having a trouble when you are trying to put in a star for approach. It does not show up in the FMC. Actually, there can be many reasons for this thing. The first reason is this: maybe your AIRAC cycle, AIRAC cycle is not updated. There is a way to update your AIRAC cycle. The X-Plane 11 was released in 2016, and the database that it comes with has stars and SIDS up till that point. That's why every time when you turn on the X-Plane 11, the default 737, you always get this error: nav data out of date. That's the reason that you get it, because the data that's stored in the navigation in the database is not updated. The only way to update is by having a subscription of Navigraph. Navigraph.com is a website which is a paid website. You can go and have a subscription, and with the help of the subscription you can update the IRAC cycle. So once you have the IRAC cycle, you will start seeing the SID and star for any new airport. Let me give you an example. Islamabad airport was an old one. Now there is a new one. Last year it was inaugurated in 2018 May. So with this error, nav data out of date, when I was trying to do the flight plans from the new airport, obviously I was unable to do that because the airports were updated in the system, but the SID and star were not updated. So I was having this issue. So for this reason, I have to update it with the help of Navigraph. It's very easy. Once you go, you get this subscription for 8.5 euros or 8.3 euros. You get this subscription. That's a monthly subscription. Maybe you can do it one time and then you can cancel it if you want. But with the help of this subscription, you get a software to download onto your system. The moment you will download that software on the system, it will automatically pick up the X-Plane 11 and will download the updates and will automatically update it in the X-Plane 11 folder. You don't have to do it anything. It's all there. Let me show you if I can show you. Here it is. This is the one. This is the application. It gives you this message. You just press yes and it runs it, updating your data. So this is the Navigraph application that you get. The moment your application is downloaded, it picks up Xplane 11 from the default directory where it is installed, or you can also specify that. And once it's done, you will start seeing it over here, like Xplane 11 1911. So 1911. So this is the year and this is the month. So it is this IREX cycle is still November. So you can download it from here and then update this item, and then it will update automatically. So once you do that, maybe you will start seeing some SID and star that are not available. So otherwise you can just watch my flight planning tutorials, and you can learn how to make a flight plan, and if the SID and star is not available, how to pick up the SID and star. There is this one thing that I covered in my tutorial, is this, that once we are updating the flight plan in the FMC, we try to go for an ILS approach. Whereas once we are making a plan in the sim brief, it gives you SID and stars on RNAV. Let me show you. Let me reload this session and I'll show you this one. This is another error that we make as beginners. In the FMC, you will see runways. ILS, runway starting with R, and runway starting with ILS. So how to decide which runway to go with? So if you're having your, like, let's say SIDs and stars, like with this title RNAV, then always select a runway that starts with an R. So you will see, for example, for 25 left, you will see two options: I-25 left, ILS-25 left, or R-25 left. In this case, this is an RNAV navigation, so always pick up the R-25. Never pick up the I. This is, I'm showing you the SID, but mostly it's about the stars, so it will show over here. Likewise in this plan, which I'm doing right now for OMDB to OPKC. So let's load it OPKC. I think there is some load on the servers of SimBrief. Even few days back there was also load, there was an error coming up. To OMDB. We're flying from 25 left and landing at 30 left. I'll show you. You see, now this is RNAV. So this is the star that you pick. So the moment you pick up 30 left R 30 left runway, that's an RNAV approach, then you have to select the star. So you also have to keep this thing in your mind. If you're not considering this option, you might face an error. Thank you very much. I'm actually trying to spread so much information about Xplane 11 because flight planning is the most important and the basic thing. Because if you know how to make a flight plan, then everything is like piece of cake. Like in the flight simulation, obviously. In the real world, making a flight plan can be a piece of cake, but flying the plane is like difficult. And over here in the flight simulation, it's inverted. So because these are the things that I was also having issues with, and it took me a great deal of time and effort to learn all these things and to master them and to have a flight plan without any errors, because right now Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming up in a few months, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm just planning to have a good flying experience rather than spending most of the time in the flight planning. I want to fly planes. So that's how you can make a good flight plan, and if your SID and stars are not available, you can pick up your SID and stars like this. $142 nautical miles to go. If you have any other question, you can just let me know. You're welcome. You should do that. It's not a big amount of money, but just do it once and subscribe for 1 month, and maybe you can then just unsubscribe it. But eventually, your AirX cycles will be updated. And let me tell you one thing really interesting. Once you have your Navigraph account as well, you can update your AirX cycles over here. Because if you'll go to SimBrief right now and you try to make a flight plan, you will see this box red because your AirX cycles for the SimBrief is also not updated. So once you connect your SimBrief with your Navigraph account, it will pick up the AirX cycles, and then you will start seeing the new settings now. Since the time I have this option available with me of Navigraph, my flight planning has gone really good. I don't find any set and star issues. Now you can see it in the map that we are approaching Oman. This is what I told you. That's actually a real flight path. So from here we had entered into Oman and then straight to Dubai. So we'll fly over Oman for some time. I don't know, we will be able to experience this thing in Explain 11 or not, but in the real life, due to these mountains, there's a lot of air pockets. So there's a lot of turbulence once the plane is approaching Dubai. I remember my first flight, I was going to Dubai, and it was such a turbulent flight before the landing, and the plane also fell in the air pocket once, that I really thought that I'm not going to see Dubai anymore. That was the first trip to Dubai. Now I've got used to it. Now I'm always prepared. Whenever I see it on the map that the mountains are approaching, I know we're going to have a turbulent time. Does anyone of you have this air sickness or turbulence issues? Turbulence fear? Initially I used to have, but now I don't. I remember one of my first few flights, I was like, what's going on? But now I'm really okay with this. So it's 3:08. reach. Top of descent is 105 nautical miles to go. 3:59. The time has updated. I think it was coming as 3:50 or 3:50. Yeah, I think roughly. I think this was the time. So roughly 40 minutes to go. So that's how the pilots know when you're about to land and how much time to go. Now in the Avitab, that's there in the ZIBO, it has got this PA system, so you can even talk to the passengers. Descend, when we'll start a descent, I will just activate this option. You will see it. Let's try this option, turbulence, and you can hear an announcement. The captain speaking to the passengers. So you can also try this in ZIBO. You see this green circle over here. This is the top of descent. The moment your plane will reach over here, you will start your descent. So no need to even go and look it over here, which is 97 nautical miles away. But you can just like zoom in and you can wait for this top of descent and zoom in from here. So this is the top of descent. This is also visible in the default 737. You can see it from there. The actual scenery is like this over Oman. The actual scenery. If you want to see this on my channel, just go to my channel and search for the video traveling alone in business class. So this is this one video that I did. I was traveling from Abu Dhabi to Islamabad, and I was the only one in the business class, interestingly. That was a great flight, and I just got some really exceptional service. That was an Etihad Airways 320. Though the business class was small, it had only 2 rows in it, which makes 8 seats, but I was alone. The feeling was really good, and I just slept my whole way out, whole way through the journey, except for the first 1 hour when I was making the video. You can go and just see in this video that you can actually see the mountains like this from the plane while you're flying over Oman. Yes, exactly. So I think I've made my video just like this. I'm just flying over the mountains and just get the real feel. So you can just go and watch this video and you can just compare it with the scenery. So I've actually turned off some details because I want to get a better frame rate for this live stream. So if I turn them on, all of them to the maximum in the graphic settings, maybe I can get a clear picture of this. That was the flight was at, I think it takes off from Abu Dhabi local time. It's 2:30 in the afternoon, 2:30 p.m. and lands at 6:30 p.m. or I think 7. It's a 3 hours and 50 minutes flight from Abu Dhabi to Islamabad. I think the 4. I think it's 3 hours and 45 minutes. So we are approaching towards top of descent. The moment we are at top of descent, I will reduce the speed to 240 knots. I will set the vertical speed to 1500 meters per second or feet per second, and I will reduce this altitude from 38,000 to 2,500. Okay. So for the altitude, let's go and check one thing. If you go to your legs of the flight, you will see that with every waypoint there's an altitude given. That your altitude should be 2,000, your altitude should be 5,000 and 6,000. So you keep on descending. So every waypoint, so these are basically B506, 505, these are the waypoints. Like each waypoint has a name in it. If I just zoom out, you can see it. Let me show you. You can see these waypoints. So these all waypoints have got a name, which is this. Now you can see this thing that before, where is the runway? Here is the runway. So before runway, the altitude should be 2000. So I will set to 2000. So it's very easy. So we will set it to 2000 and we will keep the vertical speed at 1500, and that's it. Everything is done, and then we will wait for the plane to descend. Always keep an eye on the progress. 71 nautical miles to go. So you're nearing this green dot. One right turn before the approach, I think. To zoom out and zoom in. Yes. And then the approach will start. You can see this thing that as we are approaching the top of descent, this green circle is coming near. If you can see this flight display, MFD, main flight display. So the moment we will start to descend, I will go to the PA system and I will descend. I will do this announcement. A few days back, somebody was asking me, I think on my channel, that can we talk to the passengers? Yes, in the ZIBO mode you can. Not as the way I'm talking to you guys. some traffic in the air. Another plane coming in. In real life, it's always a delight to watch another plane from the plane in which you are sitting. Looks really beautiful. I tried to make a video one time. My camera was really shaky and it was very fast. I couldn't make a clear video. But I'm always at the watch, trying to capture some other planes. Maybe one day I'll just catch it and I'll tell you guys. "34 nautical miles to go." Just 10 nautical miles before the top of descent, we will make all the adjustments, set the altitude, set the speed, and the moment we are at the top of descent, we will do the announcement, and then we will press this vertical speed button, and the plane will start to descend then. "20 nautical miles to go." This one circle represents 20 nautical miles. So the distance from here to this point is 20 nautical miles, and we are nearing this point. Okay, so 11 nautical miles to go. Now it's time to set the speed and the altitude. So let's reduce the altitude to 2000. And by doing so, the plane will not start to descend unless we press this button. So first of all, let's set the altitude to 2000, because this is the altitude before the runway you should be at. It's 2000. It's good. Set the speed to, no, change it from Mach by pressing this button to nautical miles. Set it to 240 nautical miles. Now the plane will start to slow down. You can see the speed is reducing. I'm going to 240 nautical miles because I want to have the flaps extended by 3 degrees. You can see the flap chart over here. By 250 knots you can have your flaps for 5 degrees. I, as a precaution, go to 240 knots because if you are slightly at a high speed, the flaps will not open. They will get stuck. Okay. 5 nautical miles to go. It's time to do the announcement. You can see, you can hear the announcement. Vertical speed set to 1,500. And here you go. The plane has started to descend now at 1,500 feet per second. The engine power has started to reduce. It's at 50, 49%, 48%, 47, 46%. Right now I'm not extending the flaps because the speed is under control. But if during the descent your speed is not getting under control, then you have to open the flaps. You have to extend the flaps. Only in this reason, otherwise it's good. Now just right before these turns, these complex turns, I will be reducing the speed to 160 as I told you before. And then I will be extending the flaps as well in order to reduce the speed as much as I can. Because flaps help the plane with two things, drag and lift. It not only reduces the speed of the plane during the descent, because while descending the speed increases, so the flaps help to reduce the speed and plus to give an additional lift to the plane. If the flaps are not extended, then the plane might stall. So at lower speeds, the wing span has to increase by opening the flaps, which gives an additional lift to the plane. So the plane can fly at lower speeds and lower altitudes. "35,000 feet, the plane is descending at a good rate." Let's have a look at the map. Prepare to land. Prepare for landing. So this is one announcement. We're going to do it once again. So let's go back to home and go to Avitab map, and let's have a look at the map. So right now we're flying in the territory of Oman. If I'm not wrong, this is Muscat, the capital. No, this is not. Cannot see it clearly from here. Actually, this ZIBO plane, ZIBO mod plane, a Boeing 737-800X, gives you a real life flying experience. You can see even the panels roughed out by the usage. You can see the fingerprints. You can see a fingerprint over here as well. So it gives you the real feeling of the cockpit. It's nice. It gives you the real feel of flying. So far so good. Things are looking good. Everything seems to be in shape. I think everything is looking good from this view. We are approaching the final approach towards the runway, and this is the time when we will start reducing the speed further, because we don't want to miss a turn and a waypoint, because then the VNAV option will, LNAV option will stop working. This option will not work if you miss a waypoint, if you're coming in too fast. So you have to reduce your speed. If you were using the VNAV option, we don't have to worry about these things, because then the descent rate and the speed of the plane is automatically controlled by the autopilot. But right now we are not using the VNAV option. That's why we have to do everything manually. Set the altitude, set the vertical speed, and set the speed manually. I will also learn how to do this in ZIBO mod. I know how to do it in the default 737, and there's also a tutorial on my website on the YouTube. You can just go and watch it, how to use the VNAV. Because then you really don't have to do anything. Simply take the plane off the runway and turn on the LNAV and the VNAV option. VNAV is the vertical navigation, LNAV is the longitudinal navigation. So if you turn on the LNAV option, the plane follows the path of the flight. And if you turn on the VNAV option, then the descent and the ascent rate of the plane is automatically controlled with the speed. So it follows all the procedures. Right now we are doing it manually. I just did the altitude manually at 2000 feet, and then I set the vertical speed, and then I'm also manually adjusting the speed. But I have also hardly seen any flight simmer using the VNAV option. Certainly everybody is doing it manually. I think it's fun to do it. Even there are many videos of the real flying that I've seen as well, and the pilots are doing everything manually. So I think this is the best way to do it, because VNAV at times messes up with the speed and with the descent and everything. So it's better to do it manually, unless you are an expert in this thing. You have some training and you have some hours of flying on VNAV, then you can do that. Guys, thank you very much for staying with me, and I hope you will subscribe to my channel for the future updates, and plus don't forget to like the video. There are many people who are actually watching it right now, but I haven't seen anybody liking the video. It means, and nobody's even unliked it. So it means you guys are really indifferent to this video. So a little bit of encouragement will really help me, because I'm just nowadays trying different stuff, and I'm trying to bring some interesting stuff for you guys. So a little bit of encouragement from your side will be really helpful. If you have any questions, you can ask me right now, and if you want me to do a flight plan or a flight for you, I will do this flight for you. Right now there's this viewer who came, Marcus, and he requested for a flight in Sweden, so I'm going to do it soon, in a day or two. Maybe tomorrow I'll do it. After this flight I will play Modern Warfare for some time, because it's launching in the next 20 minutes. I will be able to play it, and I've pre-installed it, but the play button is not getting activated. So after 20 minutes it will be activated. I will be doing some reviews of Modern Warfare as well, because I've been waiting for this game for a very long time, and it's, I think, one of the most anticipated games. There are few YouTubers who got hold of this game, and they were doing this multiplayer gaming of Call of Duty Modern Warfare online. It was fun to watch. The graphics are really good. The storyline is good. I don't like multiplayer. There are many expert players in the Modern Warfare, and I'm not that expert, but I play good. But it's really scary to play multiplayer, because you never know from where somebody just sprung up and kills you. 14,000 feet right now, and this is the way. So we are approaching. Now the steep turns will start after some time. We will now reduce the speed. I will not set it to 160 knots, but I'll keep it at 180 knots. Here is the runway. You can see it. See? They're the way airport runways. Oh, just lost them. Here they are. Okay. So we should be coming in straight. In real life, the plane simply comes in straight. I can do it manually, override the ILS and right now do it, but just leave it right now. We'll make an S approach, we'll make an S like this, and then we will land. This is, somebody was asking me why such a complex approach. I'm not really sure about this logic, but what seems to me is this, that, you know, there is a lot of traffic at these busy airports. So they make actually a lane before you enter the runway, so that all the planes are properly lined up and they're landing, because so much traffic coming in from here, from all the directions. So that's why they have a procedure for everything. So the planes keep on adding into these lanes, and then they land, because Dubai is like the busiest airport in the world with the maximum footfall, and I think they have this record for the past many years. I don't even remember. I think 5-6 years back I heard it for the first time that Dubai airport experienced a 1 million footfall in a year. I think this footfall has now even increased as well. Let's turn on the localizer frequencies as well. And the moment you are in the range of the localizer, that is for the ILS, you will start the beeps. Start to hear the beeps. We have set the ILS DME, the localizer frequency, that's 109.7. That's what we got from the airport charts if you were there in the beginning of the video. See, now this is the frequency of the localizer. You hear these beep? It means you're in the range of the localizer. Localizer is basically an instrument which helps the plane to land on ILS. It's time to reduce the speed to 180 knots. Here you go. Now you can see the speed is not reducing. It means that we have to use the flaps. So extend your flaps by 3 notches, and let's reduce the vertical speed a bit. It's to -1200. You can see the flaps are extended by 5 degrees or by 3 notches. The speed is reducing. You can also see this thing, that the speed limit over here has now reduced to 250 knots. So it means you cannot, with these flaps, you cannot go more than 250 knots, which is mentioned over here in the flaps chart over here in the plane. So the moment we extended the flaps, you can see the speed has started to reduce drastically. And then we will be taking this turn at a very good rate without missing any waypoint. This one turn, and then there's going to be a last turn, and that's it. We will be aligned with the runway, ready for an ILS approach. 8,000 feet is the altitude right now. I think during this approach we will be further going down by 6,000 feet. So we are not going to miss the approach. It's going to be a nice, easy landing, a clean landing. Time for some sightseeing. You can see the runway and you can see the airport. See, nice and easy turn with 180 knots. After the last turn, I will reduce the speed to 140 knots. That will be the speed at which we will be landing at the airport. So nice and easy turn. Everything looking good so far. The vertical speed is slightly higher. Let's reduce it to 1000. So everything is looking good so far. If you can see in the FMC, it's 50 nautical miles to go. See? So that's the final runway. There you go. Let's reduce the vertical speed further and let's keep it at 500 because we are descending at a very high rate. 500. Now almost 1000 feet to go. So we will be covering this distance.
$2,500.
$2,900 feet.
1,000 to go.
Let's do further, 200. Let's go slowly. We're not in a hurry. got so much time. Let's reduce the speed to 160 knots. And let's extend the flaps by one more notch. That's it. Nothing to be worried about right now. Everything seems to be perfect and good shape. "37 nautical miles to go." Now you can see this thing that with my speed, the time is also adjusting. If I was coming in fast, the time would have been good. Now it's 4:04, so we are delayed by roughly 7-8 minutes. One should have a real good experience of flying in order to know this thing. Actually, I'm flying ZIBO for the first or for the second time. I'm just trying it out, and I wanted to try it live with you guys, just to see the type of struggles that one has, even with an experience of X-Plane 11 and making all those tutorials. Still, if you're trying something new, you figure out many things in the beginning. And this is what I wanted to explore with you guys, so that we can see where the errors are and what are the good things. So we have identified few errors, and I will try to find out a solution to those errors. And next time we'll try not to repeat them. Okay, so here's the last turn, 160 knots. Flaps by 20 degrees if I'm not wrong. This is 20. So flaps are, sorry, 10 degrees. Speed is good, and the moment we are in the range of the runway, line of sight is created, then I will also lower the gears. Now the reading over here, the heading, this is the heading of the plane. It should say 300. The moment it's 300, it means we are aligned with the runway, and I will then turn to VOR location. VOR location, VOR to VOR is also a kind of a navigation that you use. VOR to VOR. There is also a by default tutorial in X-Plane 11 in which you can learn how to fly by VOR. So you simply enter the frequency of the VORs, and you just simply try to follow the VORs, and you have to give the course for the VORs. So I'm also learning how to fly the plane on VOR, because there are different types of navigation systems, GPS navigation, and then you have RNAV, then you have VOR to VOR. Because one system can fail, and then you have to rely on some other system, and most of the places different navigations are used. So that's why the pilots have to be trained on different types of navigation. It's a complete new whole experience. That's why, if you remember, in 747 they used to say 3 people. The third one was the flight engineer and plus the navigator. They used to do the navigation for the pilots. Now everything is computerized with the GPS, but still the pilots have to learn the old way of flying, because computers can fail, God forbid. You see now it's 292 degrees, 293 degrees, 294, 295. So we are getting just straight with the runway. If I turn it to approach, let's see. Can we see the runway? I think that's the runway. No problem. Your altitude is too low, so that's why we are not seeing runways from a higher altitude. We are seeing them at a level. So we are coming in good. So this is your flight plan. This is oops. Nav frequency disagree. I don't know what's this. Let's turn it off. Okay, so I will turn this VOR lock on. Now the plane is going straight towards 300. 21 nautical miles to go. Now you will start to see this diamond coming below. The moment we will start to get near the runway, this diamond will start coming down. It means this is the time when we can turn on the ILS approach, and we can press this button approach to go for an ILS landing. Right now this diamond is in the right center direction. It means that we are aligned with the runway horizontally, and this is the vertical alignment for the runway. Nautical miles to go. It's acting a bit funny. It should stay at 300. I don't know why it's not staying at 300. Turn to 304. Let's get back to LNAV and straighten up. I don't know why this thing happened. No idea. Never happened in the default 737. Maybe there's something wrong that I did. But you should always know how to correct this thing. So now, after turning on this LNAV navigation on, the plane is again getting itself aligned with the waypoints and with the runway. 296 degrees it's going at. Maybe I think there's a curve in the line. It's not a straight line. If it was a straight line, then this issue will not happen. Yes, you can see there's a slight curve. So you're coming like this, and then there's a slight tilt towards right. I think this was the issue. Anyways, as soon as we are aligned, we don't have to worry about anything. We are at 2,000 feet. The rate of descent was really high. That's why now we are flying at 2,000. I think we should have descended at a lower rate. It came down really fast. Do you think it's time for an announcement? What announcement? Let's see the options that we have. Go to PS system, prepare to land. No. I think the moment we will open the gears or lower the gears, then we will do this. Prepare to land, because I think this is exactly the time when the pilot says 10 minutes to arrival. Cabin crew, get your seats, something like this. 10 minutes to arrival. I think let's tell the people to prepare for the landing. we turn this on, the VOR LOC. 300 degrees, it will adjust itself to 300. It should. This time I think it should go 305, 306, 307. It's again getting way off. I think we should include this. Then I'll get back to our nav. Because this is the waypoint, we don't want to miss this one. I think after this waypoint we can turn on this VOR LOC on. Okay, now it's I think time to even turn on the ILS approach, because now this diamond, you can see this diamond over here. Lower the gears. Reduce the speed to 140 knots. The gears are down. And we see the runway here, and here is the runway. He came in good. Speed is reducing 140 knots. This is the speed at which you will be approaching the runway. I think when we will be 200 or 300 feet above the ground, I will disengage the autopilot. I will turn off this auto throttle. I will disengage the autopilot from here, from this switch. And then I will manually land. Now you can see this thing. The moment you press this APP button, the auto approach button, and these diamonds in the vertical and the horizontal diamond is locked in their position, and the plane has started to descend. It means this ILS localizer is basically pulling the plane towards itself. It's adjusting the right direction of the plane. Now we can see this thing that we're coming in very straight towards the runway.
500.
500 feet to go.
400.
The moment we will land, we will activate the reverse thrusters
300.
or thrust reversers.
Too low, flaps. Too low, flaps.
200.
Disengage.
Too low, flaps. Too low,
Just
flaps.
give a little bit of
Too
power.
low, flaps.
Just
100.
oops.
50.
This
40.
was not a good one,
30. 20. 10.
but still we managed. Touchdown was smooth. Thrust reversers activated. Keep throttle. Hear the sound. This sound you couldn't hear in the default 737. You can see the reverse thrusters in action. Oops.
80 knots.
It always happens. My landings are always terrible. But this time I was showing you the thrust reversers. Let's apply some brakes. And that's it. So that was a flight from Karachi to Dubai on the ZIBO mod. Still there is good runway to go. So we stopped before the time. Thank you very much guys for staying with me. Thank you very much for all your comments and everything. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. If somebody is interested in the flight simulator, they will definitely learn something out of this flight tutorial as well. And do give me your comments, and do subscribe to my channel, and just press the bell icon so that you can get an alert next time when I'm live, or I am doing some video for you guys, so that you can get the alert for that. Thank you very much for staying with me. It's time for me to check the modern warfare, and it's time for you guys to have some rest as well if it's night at your site. Have a nice day, and see you soon.